think that's got it. I just got to get this damn thing to stay right.
Thank you for listening. I'm so sorry to take up your time with all of this.
Hey, I understand.
Thank you, George.
You're welcome. There's 5 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
Your mom's taking us out for lunch.
A suggestion. We want to engage with maximum speed. I like that. Both slices of hydration brush, the sweet scent of a honeymoon beating, moisturized with vitamin B3.
You better not be using all the old spice.
Can you do my better? Is bundle, the more you say.
Why did it do that? It should not have done that. Well, I was over in Renegades Live, but it's kind of hard to text when he's not following. You know what I mean? Like he can only understand things, and then he misses something, and he doesn't get the whole gist of everything. What I'm going to do is give this 57 another shot, one more time. Where the car is at, the guy has actually given me a head gasket kit, and I have found the pistons. Let me turn this damn TV down. If I can find the fucking remotes. It's annoying as hell trying to talk over that. Oh, okay. So what I'm going to do is I actually found the pistons. They're in the box, the ones that I used. There's 2 of them in it. I didn't replace them all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy one more. And then I'm going to do the measuring of, the piston walls or whatever. The whole thing that's got to be done is going to be done by the book. I don't want to start talking about what I'm going to do because I may not sound like I'm making any damn sense. But the thing is we know, me and the guy Larry, we both know that there's water in the oil pan. So either one of the water jackets had leaked or the water passage had leaked. And that's not a good thing no matter what. Because of that, head gaskets have to be replaced. I am going to take the heads off and have them machined. I'm going to make sure the pistons that I have are the actual right size. They were standard size. They were not flat tops. But they should work. They were like, I think it was like 3.5 or something like that. Why is there this thing with this link? Share your link referral? The hell is that? Well, they got more crap blocking up the chat log in this thing than Carter's got liver pills. So in any event, what I'm going to do is we're going to start with the engine once again from the top. If I have to have it honed out, then so be it. If I have to have bigger pistons put in, so be it. I don't care. You can still get them from online. Just have to know what size you need. Because even though the car starts up, it doesn't stay running. So all those other problems that were an issue are also going to be taken care of. Like the helicoil for the carburetor on the intake manifold. Going to get rid of the bolts. Going to get some original studs, hopefully all the same size studs. And I shouldn't have to mess with the lower part of the engine. I don't think there's any problem down there. But if there is any cracks or anything like that, and the block is no good, well, then I'll just have to get another engine. But I can't tell that by not looking at it. So it doesn't make sense for me to just assume. You know what I mean? You have to look. What I don't understand is why did it take a year for it to start leaking antifreeze through one of the water jackets if everything was okay? Shouldn't have taken that long, you know? I mean, there was a problem, there should have been a problem, that would have been it. But I definitely know that there's water in the oil or antifreeze or whatever the hell you want to call it. Now my biggest problem is going to trying to find a machine shop around the area, so I'll have to Google that, see if I can find one, and then I want to see if it's actually the heads that need to be machined or if it's the block that needs to be machined. I still have coffee in here, I think. Yeah. I shouldn't even have went live just to say that. But the problem is, like I said, if I don't go live, nobody hears me. So I don't have any what do you call that documentation of what's going to be done if I don't get online. How the hell do I get rid of this shit? The hell is that? I don't know what the hell that is, but don't pay it any mind. They always got to put something in here in order to make it a problem. I love how I actually got all the microphone and the camera to work before I went into the live stream, and then as soon as I get into the live stream, the screen goes black and goes back to blocking the microphone and camera. So whoever was in here just winds up walking out. StreamYard's got too many damn problems with it. Can't tell you how many times I've actually touched something on the chat log and I got booted out. Why is it putting crap in the chat log from me when I'm not doing it? So it's going to be a multi-section video, of course. I'm going to do one thing at a time, regardless of what people say. I'm not doing it all in one shot. That's how things get messed up, is when you rush in order to satisfy somebody else's satisfactory standards. I think there's only one person in here. That's what it looks like. I don't think what the hell I brought up here. We've got a couple of hats. You know what's really funny about all this is when I put those pistons in originally, I put Marvel's mystery oil in it to see if they'd leak through, and they didn't. So I don't understand how they could be a wrong size if that's taking precedence. You know what I mean? If they were wrong size and they were too small, that fluid would have poured right through, right into the oil pan. But it didn't. So I don't understand what the problem was with that. I don't have any idea why the frickin' original pistons separated from the aprons and shattered in four pieces, only to be held in place by the rings. That I don't get either. There was no scarring on the cylinder walls. So when I put the new piston in, I guess from going up and down, it made the cylinder wall look like brand new. Or at least number 3 did. I don't know about number 2. So apparently some part of the water jacket or the water uh, channel at some point started to leak. I don't know why. I don't know how. I mean, when I torqued down the head gasket, I torqued it down to the specified foot-pounds. You know, the bolts for the head gaskets, for the heads. So I don't understand how that could have leaked after a year. Any event, that's why I'm documenting this, so that way that gets said and people can better understand what the hell happened with that engine, and so can I. Although it's not really helping me out. It's not really telling me much of anything because it doesn't make any damn sense. I mean, literally, in order for one of the water jackets or the water channel to start leaking, would mean that either the head gasket was defective or I had not torqued it down to specifications. And I double checked both sides to make sure that they were torqued down to specifications. And I did that by checking the shop manual. That's why I'm a little bit pissed off about that, because I can't understand how something, if it was done right and properly, to a certain, even to a certain degree. I mean, the gaskets are supposed to be thick enough so that way it actually seals it, not partially seals it, you know? Fruit Loop and nut job. What that referral link is. I didn't get any referral link. That's why I don't understand why this does this. It's like taking up the space for people to chat with me, and I can't chat with them because it is crap. And I will be lapping the valves. So those will be done. That could be another reason why I'm not getting proper compression. Not creating a seal tight or airtight seal. Yeah, but I can't even get rid of the damn advertisement. I don't want to see it. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be there, period. Yep, you got that right. It is my car. But like I said, I want to do it the right way, you know? Like I said, my biggest problem right now is I only knew of one machine shop that was up here, and that guy has since been closed up. He closed up shop. So he doesn't have a machine shop anymore. And I don't know where there are any others. I mean, we had Walt's Radiator Shop, that's gone. We had Wagner Industries for machine shop, that's gone. And half of these mechanics, these so-called garages nowadays, they don't dig into an engine. In other words, they don't disassemble the engine in order to repair it. They only work on cosmetic crap. I don't know why, but that's the way they work now. And I don't call that working on a car or working on an engine. Anybody could change oil and anybody could change, antifreeze and brake fluid and transmission fluid. But if you don't know what's going on the inside of the engine, what the hell's the point in it, Unless that's what you've set up for. Well, they really are going to play this. It's not the original one, it's a second one. Why do they do that? Why don't they just, if they're going to play a movie, play the first one, then play the second one? Like all out of sync. Uh, oh, by the way, newsflash. The heads are loose already. But if it's going to rain or whatever, I don't want it exposed to, rainwater, Try once again to get this car fixed. That'll be it. Uh, well, I guess that's about it. Nobody's got any commenting to do or anything. I'm just, like I said, I'm gonna do this one step at a time. I'm gonna make a list, and I'm gonna run down the list one thing at a time. Once it's done, that's when I'm gonna check it off and move on to the next. Um, like I said, the good thing is that when I actually worked on it first two times, the internal parts or whatever that it took me forever to get done, um, didn't cause the engine to catch fire or have an explosion or anything like that, like all these other people that have worked on their cars. Um, maybe I should have, but I'm not really in the mood for, running around like a chicken with his head cut off trying to put out a fire that I could have prevented. See, there's something you said underneath the frickin' share your referral link. I don't want to share my referral link. Go away. And it won't close either. Now what the fuck is this thing doing? No, I'm not into watching Top Gun when he's an old buzzard. Gotta have something else on. Shit. Nope. Nothing on. See, after watching like what do they call it, 10 minutes of TV programming and then what is it, 10 commercials? This is the reason why I never bought cable after I dropped it. We got, what is it, WWE Friday Night SmackDown. That's good enough. Oh, unless we're going to have somebody sit here and talk all night, then forget it. Even TV sucks too. Blah, 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 talking shit. Reminds me of some of the things they do on here. Mudslinging without facts. I think I'm going to give this TV a little bit of a break and just watch a DVD or something. We still have to put up with commercials. Let's see, what the hell is this charged to? 83, yeah, that's good enough. Go with it. I don't want to hear this shit. Nothing but trash on TV, that's it. That's all there is. Too damn dark in here. I have no idea why I went live. I shouldn't have went live. Just made a short video and then called it quits. So got matches in my pocket. Yep. One. There's the funniest thing. I was sitting out here before, and this hornet came up here and planted himself on the railing. And I don't know if they're too slow yet or what, because of the weather constantly changing back and forth. But after he was sitting up here on the rail, I did one of these numbers, and I hit him right in the face, knocked him right the hell off the rail. One thing he did was go down. That was it. I don't think you could ever do that if you wanted to, under normal circumstances. It was kind of crazy. I always thought about doing something like that, but never thought I'd ever do it. For fear of getting stung or something. Starting to get cold out here again. Oh, and by the way, the health is actually getting better. I've actually went up those 21 stairs, skipping a step today. So by the time I got up top to the last step, the 21st step, I wasn't out of breath, and I didn't feel like my chest was going to explode. So that's a good thing. I like having that thing where you just sit there and wrap it around the rail. You got to be careful when you take it off, though, because the phone could go flying right off of it. All right, so we have the heads loose. That much I do have done already. I didn't put the video up because I have to edit it. A lot of swear words. Always is. Anytime you're working on a car. Well, at least it is with me. And I don't have to answer to anybody as far as my profanity goes. Nobody's worthy enough. Some people think that on here I'm supposed to answer to them. I'm not here to appease those people. I'm definitely not here to answer to them. Somebody asked me a question, instead of making a video about it and trying to act like I owe them an explanation, they asked me a question, and that's different. But nobody has a right to act like I have to answer to them. After all, I don't go making videos telling them, why don't you explain why your engine was on fire? Why don't you explain the fact that you took your sweet time putting it the hell out? And why don't you explain why it caught fire to begin with? Because I don't feel that, they should answer to me either. They have to deal with it, not me. It's their car that caught fire, not mine. Ugh. Oh, God. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am not a mechanic. I don't claim to be one, and I definitely don't claim to be one on any social media platform. So let's get that packing order straight right now. Mechanically inclined? Yes, that I am. Know what I'm doing with my hands and not to speak on it from my brain to my mouth? Yes. That's the difference. Sometimes I don't speak clearly on things that are said. I've caught myself in quite a few videos doing that. We got almost a full parking lot. One, two, three, 4 spaces left. So if the rest of the weekend isn't a total washout, then I'll go over to the car and do some work. The hell is that welfare corpse? The hell is that shit? Oh. Hey Tim, what's up, man? Try to see what the heck she was saying. And I gotta get right up on this damn thing because I can't see shit. I can't see what you're saying unless it goes up. They got this freaking share your referral link crap going on. Yeah, well, I actually got to do something with the car because, like I said, I took a look at the oil and then I looked at it on a side angle and you can see that there's actually like that much more on the dipstick past full. So that means that the water jacket leaked or uh, or the channel leaked and started dripping into the oil pan. So now I got to drain the oil again, start over once again. It's expensive for parts, I'll tell you. I should run to the store and go get shit to drink. I got nothing in this house but tea and coffee and milk. That's it, and water. Freezer's filled with food. Got that covered. When I go through the process, I'm going to make a list of everything, Dan. Okay? And I'm going to go through each one of them things, one at a time. So there will be a video put up, or it will be a live. Okay? And those responses, or whatever you want to call it, information or helpful, situations, will be entitled at that time period, not after I get the part done, because then it doesn't make any sense. There's no reason to get help on a part that you've already completed. You know what I mean? So that's the point I'm trying to make. This car does need to have the head gaskets done once again, apparently, because either the gaskets are too cheap. The gasket that I have now is actually an old kit, and they're actually a lot thicker than the ones that are on the car now. So that has to be replaced once again. So I got to do that. Then I have to fix the intake. The intake has got bolts holding the carburetor down, not studs. And the reason why that is because one of them is actually stripped out. So the only thing I'd be able to do would be to put a bigger size bolt in there in order to hold it down. But apparently it didn't do it enough. So what I have to do is buy helicoil for where those studs go. Hopefully I can get all one size studs to hold that carburetor down to the intake. Now, when I take the heads off, I have to locate a machine shop so that they can machine the heads, okay? Then I have to take a look at the engine block underneath the heads and underneath the intake, and I have to look for cracks. I'm talking about cracks between, piston wall to piston wall or anything of that nature, to see if that was a reason why there was water dripping into the oil pan, okay? So it's going to be a one item at a time, and the information or the help that I get from people are going to be at the time that I'm doing the certain task, not after it's completed. Well, my dream car was actually supposed to be a 1969 Chevelle. I would have preferred a Super Sport, but those cars are so far out of reach financially that I can't see myself getting one. So I have the 57, which has been nothing but a pain in my ass from day one. And, it has to be done, and it has to be done correctly. Like I said multiple times, my biggest problem right now is trying to locate a machine shop close by that can do the head work on that, engine. And maybe even possibly the block. I don't know. I don't know how bad it is. I can't tell until I start taking things apart. I'm not a mind reader. I don't claim to know everything. I don't, you know. I know some things. I know enough to put that thing back together. And yes, it did start multiple times. Yes, it did run multiple times. Even at one point, it ran under its own power and drove. Not too well, but it did. So this time, the valves will be lapped when I'm taking the heads off to make sure that there's a seat, so that way they don't have any loss of compression. Because your pistons and your valves have a lot to do with loss or buildup of compression. So the information that I'll be listening to will be at the point of when I'm doing the part, and I will announce that I'm doing this such and such thing on the car, and all inquiries or any help would be appreciated. But I'm not going to sit there and hear somebody say, well, I didn't listen to them because I already got prior advice from somebody and I had already completed that task. There's no sense in taking it apart again in order to confirm everybody's suspicions. It doesn't help. And it doesn't help because people get aggravated because, they think they're doing me a justice. And at the time that I'm completing something, it's not. That's my point. Hey, look, it's the mofo driver. What's up, man? Well, if that's the case, if it won't work well for it, then I'll just get another intake. Somehow along the line, there's always a way out. I would rather get a 4-barrel intake. I don't like the 2-barrel, intake because the carburetor doesn't work right with it. I had to actually, when I started out, they had the choke set wrong. They had the throttle linkage all messed up. It wasn't where it was supposed to be. And, that that plays a big part whether you're going to get the car to start or not. If you're not getting gas up to the carburetor because the throttle and the linkage is not set right, then, you're going to have a problem there. And if it's cold and you're trying to start a car and the choke's not working because somebody else put it in ass backwards or they didn't put it in right, well, that can create another problem. And then you have your 2 mixture screws that are underneath the carburetor in the front. So that, plus your adjustment for your linkage, for your gas pedal, for the throttle, all that shit, and then your choke play a big part in whether the car is going to stay running or not. And then you have your studs. If they're not anchored properly and it's not a tight seal, you'll get a vacuum leak. And if you get a vacuum leak, then you run across what I ran across the other day, where you could start the car, but it won't stay running unless you have your foot on the gas pedal. The minute you take your foot off that gas pedal is the minute the car stops running, because it goes right back to collecting the vacuum leak again. So everything's going to be done from, I'm going to take the pistons out and put new ones in. I'm going to start it from scratch. Do everything one thing at a time. I have to get another press because the guy that stole half of my shit from my estate, he's not able to be reached. I don't have a number for him, thanks to my phone screwing up and messing everything up in my my phone call contacts. It's like the phone crashed and I had to rebuild it. So the first thing that I'm going to be working on is going to be putting new pistons in. I'm not going to put in 1 or 2. I'm going to put in all 8. It's going to have brand new ones. And I'm going to measure it out to see what it is supposed to be. You know what I mean? And then we'll find out the depth and everything else of what the pistons are supposed to be. Because what I did was I went online and they had the standard size pistons, and they came up for the 57 Chevy 283 V8. Not 305, not 350, 283. And I think they were like 3.5 or 3.25. So that was the standard size for that car. Unbeknownst to me, apparently the rings actually the rings are the only thing that's going to really make contact with the cylinder walls. Well, apparently one of the pistons was a little bit too tight, like the wrist pin didn't allow the piston to move, back and forth enough. So it may have wound up scraping the cylinder walls in order to make it look like it's brand new. Like it was honed out, even though it wasn't. So I got to find out what's the deal with that. And then I want to see what's up with number 2. And then I got to pull all the other ones out. So the rod bearings, well, they're going to be taken out too because they're connected to the connecting rods, top and bottom. So, but I know I won't have to replace those because those are brand new. There's no mileage on this car to even qualify it for having wear and tear on those. It's not going to hurt to look at them, but ultimately that whole damn thing has got to come apart again. And no, I'm not looking forward to it, but it has to be done because, like I said, there is water or antifreeze in the oil pan. And that's from that little leak, that little tiny droplet that kept going and it kept leaking into the oil pan. And I don't claim that I know what I'm doing either, but I'm going to damn well give it my best shot, you know? Okay, that's weird. Look at this vehicle just pulled up right by my thing here, and then just sitting here. No idea who they are. Oh, now they're getting in the car. What the hell's with this? Oh, people ordering food. I don't even do that. I don't have those things take the food to me because, you know. So that's where we're at, mofo driver. That's what we're doing. Going to make a list, and that way I can go through everything one piece at a time. Go through the whole shabam. And they're definitely going to have to get a new fuel pump. That much I do know, because it's not pumping anything through. I don't even know if there's gas in the gas tank. I have to check that out too. So that's what it comes down to. That's about it. Any advice that somebody's got to give me, well, I'll let you guys know what it is I'm working on, and we'll go from there. That way I don't have to worry about somebody saying, well, I don't listen to you anyway, or whatever. I will be listening, and I'll tell you straight out the bat that I'll be taking the advice to take a look at it to see what's going on. And if that's a factor, in the restoration of the engine. 55, 56 years of age, and here I go again. But you know what? I got rid of my massive chest pains. The coughing is still from smoking. We know that. I'm going to smoke probably till the day I die. But my energy level is back up again, and I don't feel ill like I used to when I first moved in here. I think part of that reason was because the house had a lot of mold in it. And I think I was breathing in mold spores. That's the problem. And we know definitely the water was not potable. So that was a problem. But got out of the house. The guy wanted the house anyway. He didn't care. So that's what I was dealing with. And as far as everybody wants to know, as far as that goes, yes, the house was going to go under foreclosure. But we were trying to do a loan modification. And instead of doing their part, they went and screwed around and dilly-dallied around and held things off from taking place that should have taken place. And at the time, I didn't have the energy level to, maintain anything. So that was my way out. Sell the house before they do an auction or a sheriff's sale or whatever you want to call it. It didn't get to that point. I don't know if it would have, but ultimately I got out of there and wound up with enough money to get another place, get a storage unit, and place to put my car until I can work on it. So that's where we stand right now. Now, hopefully, I'm hoping that the rest of the weekend isn't going to be a total washout, because the only thing I got done was loosening the heads. I'm not taking them off until I know, I have something there to cover it up. I don't want that metal exposed to moisture in the air where it just turns into rust, because that's what happens with a lot of people. They let the car sit for a while without the heads on it, and all that bare metal gets exposed to the moisture in the air and turns everything to rust. Up here, that is notoriously known to happen. It happens a lot. And I've even showed it a couple of times where I worked on the Oldsmobile and it was down in the bare metal. And the next day I came out there and it was brown. It was no longer the color of metal anymore. So that's what happens. And ultimately, after I get done with the engine, I have the brake line, I have a fuel line, I have two fuel or brake hoses for the front. They're in my Jeep, or they're in the 57, one or the other, but they're there for me to put them on. I have to put them on, then I have to run new brake line, from the master cylinder, the wheel cylinders, and the back ones. Then I have to take the rear wheel off on the passenger side, replace two broken studs. Put them on. They should be in the back of the 57. They shouldn't be anywhere but there, unless somebody stole that too. But I don't know why they would steal studs. They don't need them. It's the same thing why they tried to steal my damn welding machine. They didn't need that either. It didn't belong to them. My tools are my tools. And if they're in a car that's locked, you do not have a right to go into it and take whatever you want. It's not a field day. So I have a brand new battery charger. It's a really, it's a big one, not a little one. It has a reserve of 3 amps. So in other words, when I'm charging a battery and it's done, it has a 3 amp reserve to keep the battery up. Now that I've got that problem resolved, now it's just going to be everything else that I said, just do it all and get it over with. I'm going to go, when I get off of here, I'm going to go online and see if there are any machine shops around that can machine the heads. See how that goes. So what are you up to, mofo driver? What have you been doing? I haven't seen you on here in a while. Just trying to see what the heck this lady was saying too. Oh, he said it will work for that. Okay. DJ Brook, Dream Car. One troll gone. Who's next? Yeah, that Dan character is another fakey jakey. Comes in here to antagonize people. That's what he does. Hey, Dan, I don't listen to people like you, okay? Because you don't bring in help. You bring in agitation and aggravation. So I can do without people like you. How about that, okay? Take your advice and stick it where the sun don't shine. Because I do listen to people, just not people that are like you. And you can't stand that, and that bothers the hell out of you. So you know what? Cram it, pal. Yep, I already know who are the ones that start garbage in here. Well, that's good, man. I'm glad you stopped drinking. That's not not good for anybody. Elmwood Park, New Jersey. I have to look that up, Tim. I have to look that up, see how far it is, because that's pretty far from here. You know, that's like down Elizabeth, Newark, and Hillside area, Elmwood Park. And I'd rather get all the particulars on it before I bring the heads down. I don't want to make the trip down there if they can't do it at a reasonable cost. If it's going to cost too much, you know, I mean, I'm already thinking about coughing up a lot of money in order to do this because I have to, get all the parts and everything else in order to make this hopefully work this time. As far as the drinking goes, I haven't started to drink. I drank when I was in my 20s, and that was it. After I got done with that, my little, trip down alcohol lane was done and over with. Same thing with the drugs. Like they say, weed is legal nowadays. Well, it's not if you're driving school kids. They still drug test you, and they'll also alcohol test you too. And if you come up with any of that in your bloodstream, guess what? You don't have a job. Doesn't matter where you work. You could be driving school kids. You could be working at a gas station. You could be anything that where you're driving a vehicle. If you're driving, like what I do, the distribution truck for, sodas and water or whatever the case may be. You're dealing with their machinery, their truck. So if you have any of that in your bloodstream, you're not going to have a job. Even a gas station, if you come in there like staggering and falling all over yourself and everything else, they're going to know something's wrong with you. They're not going to want you to work there either. They figure they can get somebody that's sober in order to do the job correctly, instead of somebody that's there drunk and do it incorrectly, you know? Well, I'll tell you, that place is pretty busy on the weekends. I didn't think I'd see that parking lot that full. Oh, yeah? And how's the Corolla? Are you doing any work to it, or is it just like a runnable car, daily driver, what? That's cool. The one thing is, like I said, well, a lot of people on here, they look at it as if you don't have an old car, then you're not part of the clique or whatever. That doesn't always necessarily mean that, I mean, you're still dealing with a car that has an engine. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the things may have been upgraded to electronic, fuel injection and all that other jazz, but ultimately, the long haul is there's still a regular combustion chamber and an engine block underneath and all that other crap. So, you know, it's still an engine, it's still a car. You know, people like those cars. They don't, some people don't like the old cars. Some people like what they call tuner jobs, like your Toyota, the Corollas or Celicas or whatever the hell they want to call it. And then your Hondas and then your Volkswagens. A lot of the kids like that stuff nowadays. I don't get the gist of the big fart can on the end. It looks like somebody puts um, an exhaust on it that don't belong on a car. Man, these people are ordering food left and right. It's the second car I've seen here. Uber Eats. This guy looks like his battery's gonna die. Lights are dimmed. That's good, man. That's good. And if you enjoy it, that's all that matters, right? That's what counts. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. You're the one that bought the car. You're the one that paid for it, not them. Or somebody's having a party. I don't know what or who. Yep. Yeah, the older ones are. Yeah. Yep. And then for a while you had your what is it, the um Subarus. The Subarus are ones that are, contenders now. They're saying that they stay out there longer, and all that other jazz. And they don't break down as quick. Yeah, maybe I'll just go to Quick Check and grab a couple of Arizona iced teas or whatever till tomorrow. Then I'll go buy a bunch of stuff to drink at the house. I mean, I got 4C lemonade and peach tea mix, but I should get spring water and stuff like that for that. Let's see what this guy says because I can't see it. Ah. So how's the lighting? Is it okay? Can you guys see me well enough or no? I'm sitting outside on my balcony, so I've got one light across the parking lot. Looks like it's shining pretty good. Ah. Oh, we got 18 people in here now, I guess. Yeah. Hmm. I think that guy's going to need a new battery soon. His headlights are really dim, and so is his taillights. Yeah. And the other thing is too is like when I make my videos, I don't go calling other people bitches and motherfuckers and all that other crap. Maybe I should, do the same unto them as they do on somebody else. A little taste of their own medicine. Let me see. It's my what? It's your beater, huh? My first car? My first car was actually um, yeah, it was a 1970 Dodge Challenger. It was blue with a black top. And I got the car with a bad transmission. So I paid $289 to have another transmission installed. And I think I drove the car one time. Had a bunch of people surrounding the car like they were trying to uh, carjack me. And when I lit up the tires, they all scattered, you know? Yeah, I had one guy on here before. He's like, yeah, I've been following you for years. He's like, there's nothing that you're saying or nothing that you've done that didn't make any sense, you know? And the people that are hating on you are just people that can't come up with anything better to do with their time. So I can understand that. Sometimes, like I said, I may not, like I may say, let's see, push rods instead of rocker arms, or um, push rods instead of connecting rods, or vice versa. But I'm hoping that a person knows that if I'm talking about rod bearings, I'm probably talking about connecting rods. And if I'm talking about rocker arms, well, then I'm probably talking about push rods. It's just that common sense. Some people get it, some people don't. Oh, God. Ugh. I don't even know what the hell time it is. Oh, it's almost 9 o'clock. Shit. I want to check the weather too, because I want to see what it's going to be like for tomorrow. Yep. So far I have to do some editing on some video that I did earlier today for the heads, and then I'll have to do some editing tomorrow for what I did today. What am I saying about what? Yep. Yeah, some do and some don't. That's the thing. All right, man. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here too. I think that's about enough for one night. I think I made my point pretty clear. Unless somebody's clueless and they can't understand, then I don't know what to tell them, you know. Um, but usually, what I deal with is on a common sense wavelength. I don't deal with you know way out yonder type things, you know. Um, it's not the way I was brought up. I'm not trying to beat around the bush in order to get my point across. You either get it or you don't, you know. And as far as your haters are all concerned, I'm not here to answer to you. This is not your channel. In the days of you sitting there trying to call me a racist and all that other crap, well, that stuff happened over a year ago, and I haven't had any problems since, and it doesn't make a person a racist. I watch everybody that watches mine, man. Like you get Dennis on here, Twisted Garage. I watch his videos all the time, man. And then you got the other guys that are on here too. If they have film footage or videos that they post online, I'll watch it. Um, if they're people that even some of the people that I hate or hate on me, I watch their videos. But mainly, what their point is, or my point of watching their videos is just to see what kind of crap they're talking. That's about it. And usually it is just that crap. It's got nothing to do with anything. So people that are getting angry and talking about, coming to their house and kicking their butt and all that other jazz, it's pointless. You know what I mean? I wouldn't make a trip to go and see somebody just because I don't like what somebody says. You know what I'm saying? You can't hold a grudge against somebody like that. That's why they call this the United States. It's a free country. You can say whatever you want, and it shouldn't have any repercussions for it. But some people think that it should. And maybe in their warped mind it does, but not in mine. So in any event, I am very appreciative of all my followers, without a doubt. Um, the hardcore ones that stay with me, I know who you are, you know who I am, and I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not deleting you either. You guys are pretty decent, and I don't tell you who to follow. That's your thing. If you want to follow the rhetoric and the hysteria and the crap and all that stuff, that's your decision. That's not mine. I don't have a right to tell you what you should do. You know what I mean? That's your decision. You make that decision on your own. You got a brain upstairs. God gave you one. You know what to do. Exactly. Exactly. And I don't waste my time leaving comments on their videos because I got better things to do with my time. Some of this stuff is ridiculous. And some people just like to air dirty laundry over and over and over and over again until it gets sickening like a broken record. Good night, David. Have a good evening, and we'll see you in the next one. I'm going to put up another one tomorrow. Either it's going to be a live or it's going to be a video. I don't know which yet. I have to see how I'm feeling tomorrow morning, and then I have to see what kind of uh, chaos is in store for me when I go to the car. As far as what I got to do. And ultimately, one way or the other, if it's advice that I can use, like I said, um, if it's at the point where I'm working on something and it's still open for discussion or for help for that thing that I'm doing, then so be it. But if the situation is past and I am now working on something else, then that becomes mute. It becomes pointless. So it's like on to the next. And that's the way we'll be standing. And I'll tell everybody beforehand, so that way there's no confusion. Everybody, y'all have a great evening. Be safe. I know it's Friday. A lot of people like to go to the bars and all that other jazz. Don't take somebody else out because you want to go out and have a good time. Get yourself um, a driver that doesn't drink that can bring you home. So that way you get home in one piece, the other person gets home in one piece, and nobody gets hurt. All right? Everybody have a great evening, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye now.